Hello, welcome to Linda's Real Deal Talk Show. Hold on to your seats because you're in for an excellent, inspiring episode. And our topic for today is finding strength within. And our guest this evening is a life coach, and she will give us wisdom and she will inspire us. So I want you to give TerryAnn Porter a big warm welcome as she comes on and introduces herself. Yay!
Oh, thank you, Linda. Thank you. You're so sweet.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Sharing your time and your life with us. So
I love being here. Thank you.
You're welcome. I always like starting off for you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background or your history. What would you like to share with the audience?
Oh, my goodness. Well, my name is TerryAnn Porter. I am currently a life coach. I've used the tag LifeCoachTA. TA for TerryAnn, just in case you need some help there. I've had people ask, why that?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I have spent most of my life, listening to other people and trying to be an encouragement. I now call myself a chief encouragement officer.
Love it.
And I find that, the biggest thing that really holds people back, women in particular, men too, but women in particular, is that self-talk.
Oh, yes.
We get into the self-talk in our abstract absolutes. You have a bad day and I can't do anything right. Yes, you can. You're just so focused on what's happened wrong. So I call that an abstract absolute. Always, never, come on, let's be realistic. So I have strived now to help you to find strength within, to defeat those lies of negative self-talk by changing your perspective. When you do that, you're going to start to notice there's some possibilities out there that you hadn't seen before.
Okay.
And as those possibilities open, you'll see pathways. And you can choose now which one of those to step on in truth.
I love it. Thank you so very much. So what inspired you to become a life coach?
I decided to go to the life coach angle during a time when I had to quit my job because physical pain was so extreme, I could barely walk. And I was on all kinds of medications, and I decided this isn't good for me. I've got to find something besides just laying here feeling sorry for myself. My husband encouraged me. He said, you listen to people all the time. You're such a good encourager. And I never even heard of a life coach. He says, you've got to check this out. So I found a Christian life coach online school, and I went through their courses. Very extensive, a lot of hands-on application. And during that time, I also found my first client was me. And I coached myself off of opioids.
Oh, okay.
And it just got to where I now try to bring about just the life coaching mannerisms in everything I do.
So what have you learned being a life coach?
I have learned that not everyone sees the same thing the same way.
Okay.
I've learned that you and I could be looking at the very same item and see two entirely different things.
Mm-hmm.
This really became clear a few years ago. I had a couple of posters that I used to have on my wall, and one was of a mother at the bedside of her daughter saying, praying over her, and the other one was a man over his son praying over him. One, I really realized everybody looks at the same thing and sees something different. I saw a parent praying over a child. I had some friends over one day. Another woman saw it, and what she noticed, I'd never seen it before. There was an angel in the window. she was always drawn to angels. I never even noticed it was there, but that's where her focus went. Another friend saw the man's hand was on his child's back during the prayer. She said, my husband does that every night. These were two things that I never even noticed in the picture before. So all three of us were looking at the very same image and seeing three entirely different things. So when people are talking about things they went through, we have to take away that judgment part, because we're on the outside seeing something and they're seeing something from a different vantage point.
Oh, that makes sense. Definitely. So by doing that, you're able to focus in on exactly what that person is looking for and need, and know how to guide them in whatever
Yes.
help. So
yes, because with the end result is going to be different than me telling you what to do. It's going to be different than you seeing it for yourself and choosing what to do.
Like that. Yes, that makes total sense. Exactly. So suppose, how do you go about selecting a life coach? What are some questions we should ask, or things we should look for in making that selection?
When you're, I guess interviewing might be the word, but when you're speaking to someone that you are looking to put in that position, do you feel a connection where you feel like they're going to listen to you, really listen to you, not only to what you're saying, but what you're not saying? And is that person going to be able to, ask questions which are really going to push your boundaries? Just a yes person isn't going to help. That person is going to keep on asking questions for you to really start to think. And I remember the phrase I heard once, your life coach, as a life coach, you should be one question away from being fired.
Okay.
Because you have to get past your comfort zone to move forward. And that's not easy to do.
It's not easy. You're right. Oh,
and the main thing too, in selecting a coach, one thing you need to look for in yourself first. Are you willing to make the necessary changes?
Yes.
If you're wanting status quo, then there's no sense in wasting your money. You've got to be willing to make some changes.
Wow. That's the key part. Yeah. Make those changes. Exactly. So suppose somebody is thinking about becoming a coach, a life coach. What are some tips and suggestions would you give that person on becoming a coach?
I've thought a lot about that, and I've met a lot of people who say, and I'm a coach. I guess a lot of it, for me, yes, basically I did it before, but to me the training was vital, because I learned how to hone in on some of my skills and was able to expand where I really didn't realize that I wasn't before, and helped me to understand the process more. I would suggest, if you decide to go the path of a coaching school, check out the school, check out the reviews. If you can, talk to people who have been through their training. And is it compatible with what your desires are? I didn't want just a piece of paper that said, yes, she's a coach. I wanted to be able to fully understand the impact of what life coaching is and does. So, of course, part of that is I had to be coached. And, there were days I didn't want to be coached.
Yes.
So if there was, I would suggest look for that place where you're going to get the training that will take you down the path that you want to go.
Yes, that makes sense. Definitely. That's it. Yes, I've had several coaches, and They do ask tough questions, deep probing questions, and I sit there and scratch my head and I say, can I have a minute or something? Can I get back with you tomorrow? Sometimes I want to say, can I get back with you tomorrow? No, that's part of the process.
It's part of the process.
To work through it and get it figured out, so you'll be able to move to the next step and move to the next phrase. So those are great tips on advice on if you want to become a coach, or if you're looking for a coach, what to look for. Great examples. And so today we decided to call our episode Strength Within. And I want TerryAnn to explain, what does she mean by strength within?
Oh, wow. You know, I find sometimes that our biggest enemy is that face in the mirror.
Yes.
That's the one that holds us back the most. And that's where the change has to take place. I cannot control the people around me. I cannot control often many situations around me. But what I can control is my response. And that is where the strength comes from. One of the hardest things I think to maybe change in a behavior is learning to respond instead of react. I'm still working on that. I struggle now, but I'm so aware of it now. And you have to become aware of where your triggers are, where your difficult points are that are holding you back. Because until you're aware of it, you can't move it forward. So become aware of what's within you, and you're going to find you've got a strength in there that it's there. You've just got to let it out. So we have to become aware of it. And that's part of the whole process. Facing that person in the mirror, that face in the mirror, and saying, okay, you and I got this.
Exactly. Definitely. So who is your mentor? Who do you admire? Who do you look up to?
Oh, I have so many people in my life that I look up to. And you know, saying hindsight is 2020. I look back at some amazing people that have been in my life that I didn't take advantage of. Yeah. Oh my gosh, but if you ask, I don't know if I could put a name, because quite honestly, I have a list, which does include Linda Wilson, by the way, of people that I look at and admire and say, okay, I want to step out. I want to have that smile that Linda has. I want to have the strength to stand out. And so there's a number of people that I keep in my life. People in my life that I admire. I have so many people in my life that I admire. I really couldn't name them all. And I would be afraid to name one or two, because then I don't want to offend somebody that I've left out. I do have so many people. And I've just recently done, you know, I don't know if you all know this, Linda and I are both in Toastmasters.
Yes.
That's how I met Linda. And I did a speech last night on mentors.
Okay.
And I guess I never fully understood what a mentor is until in Toastmasters. And the thing about it that I've learned, and I do have so many that I look to that I consider as a mentor. And it's not that I want to become that person. And that's what I always thought mentoring was. But no, it's, oh, I see this trait, this characteristic. I want to gain that characteristic skill from this person, and then from this person, and bring them all in and make them me. But I am inspired by so many people.
Yes, exactly. I am too. I like going to YouTube and finding inspirational talks and motivational speakers. And my favorite one is John Maxwell. And then my next favorite one is Les Brown. He just has me cracking up. I'm just so inspired by his story. And then the stories of celebrities, when they tell me they started out sleeping out in their cars before they got started. And that just really touches my heart to hear stories like that.
Yes.
But those stories are great inspiration to help encourage you, to help you move forward, to help you to dream big and to never give up. So help is available. We just have to ask for it, reach for it, accept it, and use it, put it to use. Just don't hear it, but to just do it and put it to use, because anything is possible.
And like when you talk about you see the celebrities and you see where they are now. We do need to go back to that person that we see who is successful. How did they get there? Because they didn't just step right into it. The Proverbs 31 woman. I used to hate the Proverbs 31 woman because she's so perfect. How can I possibly be that perfect? Until I met several women, I thought they are a Proverbs 31 woman. But as I heard their stories, they didn't just get there. They went through so many life experiences. And then that Proverbs 31 woman is the culmination of all of those. And so you can't just take somebody that you see where they are now. You need to get to know them. How did they get here?
They get there. Yes, it's the journey, the process.
That's the strength within. That strength got them there.
Yes. So we all have that strength within. We just have to tap into it and realize that we do have that strength within. Believe in ourselves. So my word for this year has been transformation, because I want to be transformed not only in my body, but in my mind, my soul, and spirit. And that it's been a journey, it's been a process. But also I'm looking forward to the rewards of being expressive, bold, and encouraging leader, because I want what I learned and to be able to share with others, to help others be inspired to grow. And then they in turn can go and share it and inspire somebody else. Okay. So
let me share with you. Let me share with you one quick tip. This is one thing when I'm getting down on myself. One thing I do. I told my husband one day, I need to be reminded sometimes. I need a crown. Remind me, I'm a princess. I'm a daughter of the King of Kings. He went and got me a crown. Oh. Now this is notice princess,
yes.
Pink fur. It even has lights on it. And if I put this on, you smiled. You smiled. I cannot put this on without smiling. Yes. And once you smile, then some positivity, some encouragement, some good feelings can start to seep through, and it takes that smile. So every once in a while, he'll come up and say, I think you need to put your crown on. I know it's silly, but it works, and we have to find what works for you.
Yes, ma'am. I love it. Put your crown on, because you're a princess, because you are precious in his sight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Terry, tell us, what legacy do you want to leave?
Wow. As a legacy, I would just hope that people would think of when they hit those tough times, that they'll remember something that I said or did that encouraged them. It's not going to be any big, major, movie-worthy type of thing. It's going to be just that one little comment or thought that they can hold on to. And that's more than anything what I want the legacy to be. One of encouragement and strength.
Yes. That's a great legacy. So, audience, what legacy do you want to leave? Would you like to connect with TerryAnn? TerryAnn, tell us, how can we connect with you?
Well, I have a website. You can, if you remember my name, TerryAnn Porter, look for terryannporter.com. Or if you remember LifeCoachTA, go to lifecoachta.com. Take your pick.
Okay, that sounds great, definitely. So feel free to connect with TerryAnn. She's a great encourager, a great inspirer. She would help you get to where you want to go. So in conclusion, I would like TerryAnn to tell us what her goals and aspirations are, and then leave us with some words of wisdom. So those three things.
Oh my goodness, my goals and aspirations. It's my desire to step out publicly and just share the word, the encouragement to anyone, to help women to defeat those lies of negative self-talk, to help them empower them to look at things with a new perspective, see those possibilities, examine those new pathways that are opening, and proceed in the truth that you are strong, you are worthy, you are a princess. Put on your crown.
You want me to put on my crown? Put on my crown.
All right.
No matter how it looks, it might be crooked, just put the crown on.
Worst comes to worst, put on the crown and smile.
Thank you very much, TerryAnn. So what else? Leave us with some more encouraging, some more words of wisdom. What do you have for us?
Oh, let me share this with you. You know, one of the things I did when the back pain was extreme and I could barely move, I journaled and I picked up some knitting that I hadn't picked up in a while. One day I picked up a tangled ball of yarn. And it was so tangled up, and I spent a long time. If you have ever untangled yarn, let me tell you, that is tedious. It's time consuming. It's frustrating. But I finished doing that, and I was doing some journaling. And I journaled, God, my life is so much like that skein of yarn. It's tangled. It's messed up. God, you have to untangle this. Well, over time, I kept on journaling. Well, as things improved through surgery and medications and whatever, and I was able to get up, start moving around, I looked back at those journal entries and I started to notice a pattern. I took those journal entries, made a few edits. I took some knit and crochet terms and I added them to scripture. And I wrote a knit and crochet Bible study called Stitched in Christ.
Nice.
That was well accepted. So I took that, that Proverbs 31 woman that I talked about earlier.
Right.
I took then each of those verses and broke them down. And I wrote the second one, the Proverbs 31 woman, God's work in progress. That woman you still see as perfect, God's still working on her. That face you see in the mirror, God's still working on her. It's still a work in progress. You're not finished yet. So I took those to my church. I tried it with a group of ladies, started to sell them into just as group packages for church. And my husband said, and why is it not on Amazon? That dang husband of mine gets me into all kinds of things. So they're now on Amazon.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, good. So feel free to reach out to TerryAnn, purchase her books on Amazon, and be inspired, be encouraged, because you are precious in His sight and you can do anything. Whatever you set your mind to, you can achieve it. Believe it, you can achieve it. Thank you so very much for joining the Linda's Real Deal Talk Show. So stay tuned for some more interactive, exciting episodes coming your way. But in the meantime, keep it real.
I don't necessarily want to.
TerryAnn, here's your
Hold
reminder. Go to Costco.
Excuse me, can we do that part a little bit over? My Alexa just decided to talk. Alexa, no interruptions for 30 minutes.
That's cool.
I'm sorry. I don't even know how to turn her off.
Hi, Alexa.